You're 10 centimeters and your nurse says, okay, let's push. And without any discussion, without any options presented to you, they tell you to get into the bed in a certain position. They grab your legs, and that's just how it goes. Except it doesn't have to be. I have been a part of births with moms on their backs, on their hands and knees, on their sides, squatting, standing, leaning on the bed, next to the bed, standing in the bathroom, sitting on the toilet, crawling around the floor. I've been a labor and delivery nurse for over 16 years. I've had over 15,000 students, and I've pushed out 6 babies myself. And I can tell you with everything I have, the position you push in matters. And most moms have no idea they get to have a say in it. And honestly, that is the most important thing, is that you choose. So today, we're going to fix that. Hi, welcome to the Birth Experience. I'm Trish, and I was a labor and delivery nurse for over 16 years, a mom of 7, and someone who will absolutely not let you walk into your birth room not knowing this. Because here's what I know to be true. If you don't know your options, you don't have any. And when we're talking about pushing, the position your body is in when your baby comes out matters for how long you push, how your body holds up, and whether the baby comes out smoothly. And also, it matters for tearing. So by the end of this video, you're going to know what every pushing position I like is, what the research says about each one, and which ones are options, even if you have an epidural. What to say when your nurse or doctor defaults to the one that's easiest for them, and exactly how to put this in your birth map before you ever get to the hospital. So let's go. Before we talk about positions, I want to take 60 seconds to explain how we got here, because here's what will blow your freaking mind. Women have been giving birth for all of human history. That's not the thing blowing your mind, right? Because you know that. For most of their history, they were not laying flat on their backs. They were upright, they were squatting, they were kneeling, crawling around on all fours, supported by other women, a birth stool, a rope hanging from the ceiling. Gravity was the boss. The lithotomy position, that is the official name for you flat on your freaking back with your legs up, became the standard. And the reason it spread was King Louis XIV of France wanted to watch his mistresses give birth, and lying down gave him a better view. And because of that, then the common folk thought that was the way you should do it. And that is not a joke. That it was not easier for the mom. And we have been defaulting to it ever since, because it's also easier for the doctor. Even though the research, the actual research, does not say it's the best position for most moms. Now, I will tell you that sometimes you naturally get in that position. I did. I was unmedicated and I did it. So I want to be very clear. This isn't about blaming doctors or nurses. It's about knowing that this is a default, not a requirement. And you have more say here than you've been told. So what the research actually says to us, let's talk about that. The Cochrane review, which is the gold standard of pulling together the best available research, looked at birth positions, and here's what they found. Compared to lying on your back, upright positions were associated with fewer assisted deliveries. That means fewer forceps, fewer vacuums, fewer episiotomies, because none of us want to get our lady bits cut. Episiotomy is a surgical cut, for those of you who don't know, of your vagina. Fewer abnormal fetal heart rate patterns, which tell us the baby is actually doing better during pushing, and a shorter pushing stage. So that last one was only about 6 minutes shorter on average, which sounds small, but when you've been pushing for an hour, 6 minutes is everything. And when you're pushing hard against gravity instead of working with it, 6 minutes is the difference between making it and not. The review also noted that upright positions can come with a higher chance of tearing. That's real, and I'm not going to hide it from you. But here's the nuance. The tears associated with upright pushing tend to be smaller, less severe tears, not the 3rd and 4th degree tears that require significant repair. What decreases in upright positions is the episiotomy, which is an actual legit surgical cut of your vajayjay that actually requires suturing and recovery time. The bottom line from the research is that women should be encouraged to give birth in whatever position they find most comfortable. And upright is usually supportive of better outcomes. Hey mama, real quick, I have to tell you about the Haka Gen 2 Plus because I have been recommending it like crazy. They did two things with this pump that I love. The flange has these little ridges on it that actually slow the suction down, so pumping is more comfortable. As a labor and delivery nurse, a mom of 7, and a GG to 2, I can tell you comfort while pumping matters more than you might realize. And then there's this handy little insert called the spill guard. It goes right into the pump while you're using it. My daughter Lainey is using this right now with Ivy, and let me tell you, Ivy's little hands are everywhere, so the spill guard is perfect. It doesn't matter what the baby grabs, the milk stays put. It also fits right in your diaper bag, so it goes everywhere you go. The link is in the show notes, and use the code LNMMAMA20 for 20% off. Okay, back to our episode. So, what are your options? What do I mean? And real quick, just so you guys know, I made a visual guide that shows you every single one of these positions with illustrations, including which ones work with an epidural, so that you can have it right there in the palm of your hand. And it exists so that you don't have to remember everything I'm about to tell you when you're in the middle of a contraction, because during labor, you only have to labor. So you can grab it before you even finish this video. So let's get into the positions. Position number 1, lithotomy. On your back, legs up. Most often in stirrups. This is the default: bed reclined, feet in stirrups, or held by support people, pushing against gravity. It gives your provider the best visual access and the most room to intervene if needed. Now, are there times when that is necessary? Yes. So when does it make sense? If you need forceps or vacuum assistance, if your provider needs direct visual access throughout pushing, or if there's another medical factor that requires it. Not as default, because that's just the way we do it. That is not good enough. Position number 2 is semi-recumbent, which means you're kind of reclined back at an angle. Okay, so think like you're laid back in a recliner. This is the lithotomy position, but with the head of the bed raised to about 30 to 40 degrees, way more common than fully flat and slightly better. You're getting a bit of gravity assist, and it's easier to bear down. Most hospital births end up in this position. When does it make sense? Easier starting point for moms who want to try upright but feel unsteady, and a lot of epidural moms end up here comfortably. Again, you have choices. You have choices. Position number 3 is side lying, which we call the Sims position, and you are on your side, usually with your top leg supported by your support person, or maybe we have one stirrup up kind of in a wonky way. But this is one of the most underused positions in hospital birth, and one I want you to know about specifically. What it does, it takes pressure off your perineum, which means it is one of the least likely positions that you'll tear in. And it gives you more control over the descent of the baby. It slows things down in a good way. And it's especially useful if the baby's coming really fast and you want to ease the baby out rather than power through. And it's really best for moms with epidurals. You don't need core strength to maintain this position. Moms with high blood pressure. This position improves blood return to the heart. Moms whose babies are coming really fast, and moms who are exhausted and don't want to get into a complete upright. They want to conserve energy. If a nurse hasn't offered you this position and you want it, just say, hey, can we try to lay on my side to push? Girl, you got power. You got power. Position number 4, which is one of my favorites, is hands and knees. You're on all fours. The weight is on your hands and knees. I like to put the back of the bed up and put pillows so when in between contractions, you can kind of rest. Your back is parallel to the floor and gravity pulls the baby's weight away from your spine. This is the position I want every single one of you in if you know your baby is sunny side up, posterior. When a baby is posterior, the back of the baby's head is pressing against your spine. And that is where the brutal back labor comes from. Hands and knees helps rotate the baby, takes the pressure off your back, and often, not always, but often shifts the baby into a much better position for delivery. This is also really, really good if you know that your baby is big. What the research shows is hands and knees shorten the pushing stage, reduces back pain during second stage, and is associated with a better maternal comfort score. That means moms like it best. It also takes some pressure off the perineum, which some research links to reduce severe tearing. The hesitation providers sometimes have is it limits their access and their visibility. Hello, it's not about you, sir. You have to advocate for this one specifically because it requires your team to work differently, but it's an absolute option even if you have an epidural. So again, who is it best for? Posterior babies, long pushing stage, back labor, moms who feel the urge to get on all fours. Girl, trust the urge. Your body is telling you something. And I am saying, listen to your body because it's smarter than all of us. Position number 5 is squatting and supported squatting. Squatting was my go-to. Full squatting opens the pelvic outlet by up to 20 to 28% compared to lying flat. So let me say that again. Your pelvis is physically wider when you squat. Gravity is fully working in your favor, and the baby just has more room to move down. It makes so much sense. Supported squatting means you're holding onto something like a birthing bar attached to the bed, your support person's hands, a squat bar, a tug of war rope, whatever, but you're not holding your own body weight, which is actually what I did because I was exhausted by that point. What it requires is leg strength and endurance if you're doing it unsupported. If you have an epidural, full squatting unsupported is unlikely to work because you won't have the sensation or the muscle control with your legs, but you can absolutely do a supported squat, hands on a squat bar, leaning back between pushes, and it can absolutely work with an epidural. And I love it. Supported squatting is best for either one of you, whether you have an epidural or not. And moms with a baby who is slow to descend into the pelvis, it's really good because it opens up your pelvic outlet, and that can be the thing that finally lets the baby move down. So ask your nurse, or you can even put on your birth map, does the bed have a squat bar? Most hospitals do, but a lot of moms don't ask until too late. So ask when you first get there so that they go and find you one if there's not one in the room. But almost all hospitals have one. Okay, position number 6, leaning forward, hands on a raised bed. This is a variation of upright that often surprises moms with how good it feels. The head of your bed is raised, almost fully upright, like almost upright. And you are kneeling on the mattress or standing beside the bed, leaning forward into it. Your weight is forward, baby has the gravity assist, but your back is like free. And it's also good if you're really tired and you don't feel like getting on your hands and knees. It's more comfortable for many moms than squatting because you have the bed supporting your upper body, and your nurses can still monitor the baby easy. And it's one of the easier upright positions to do if you have what is called a walking epidural, which I have never worked anywhere that does them, but go you, because every time I say they don't do them, someone tells me they had one. Who it's best for? Moms who want to be upright, but they need some support. Moms who feel pressure in their lower back and want to shift forward. Okay, what about if you have an epidural? Now, some of these I've already told you that you can use if you have an epidural. And I know a lot of you are like, well, Trish, like I'm planning epidural, and most of my friends, I've seen their pictures, and the nurses at the hospital when I did the tour said, this is how I push. Does any of this apply to me? Yes, absolutely. Yes. If you have a good epidural, that means you should be able to move your legs. You should support yourself slightly inside the bed. The positions that work well are side lying, semi-recumbent, and supported squatting with a squat bar, and also hands and knees, depending on the nursing support, because it really requires a lot of help repositioning you. But we do it in hospitals every day. Now, I personally love the peanut ball. If you have an epidural, you need to have this between your legs while you're laboring, while you're resting between the pushes. It is an epidural mom's best friend. Bestie, your bestie, the peanut ball. And you can see I have one right. Oh, nope, there. I can't. Where is it? It's there. Okay. The thing I want you guys to know, having an epidural doesn't mean that you have to give up all your control over positioning. You still have way more options than you've been told. And we include that in our labor positions guide. Okay. Here's the part that matters just as much as knowing the positions, knowing how to speak up about them without feeling like you're doing something wrong or you're confronting them. You have every right. So the best time to have this conversation is not when you're 10 centimeters and your nurse is already reaching for the stirrups to put them up. The best time is when you arrive at the hospital, during your admission, and when you hand over your birth map. You say, one thing I want you to know is that I plan to push in different positions. I appreciate you supporting me. I've already learned about sideline, hands and knees, and several others. So I can't wait to have your support in trying them. And I would also love to hear your tips for good pushing positions, but I do not want to push on my back unless I want to. You're not making any demands. You're just telling them what you want and you're inviting them into your birth map. If you get pushback, if someone says, well, we always push on the back, it'll be fine on your back. Like everybody does that. You have every right to say, this is what I choose. And if there's an emergent situation, then we can talk about it then. Just because it's what they do does not mean it's what's best for you. You have rights. I don't care if it's a hospital policy or not. Okay, so everything I just taught you, you need to have it with you in the room, not in your head. So grab our labor positions guide. You'll have it right there in your hand. It's amazing because here's what actually will happen. You go into labor and your brain is laboring, dealing with contractions, then transition, then the urge to push. In that moment, you're like, oh my God, what were the 6 positions? What I want you to do is get the guide, practice them while you're pregnant, have a good laugh with your partner, do them, so that you have them from muscle memory. And that's why we created the labor position guides called Push Like a Pro. It's visual, it's illustrated, it's clear, and it shows you all the positions and it tells you exactly when to use what. Link is in the description, and it's the best thing to do to prepare for your birth. If you want everything, the full kit and caboodle, join the Calm Birth Bundle. You'll get that in there as well. And the link is down there too, or go to labornursemama.com/calm, CALM. Okay, mamas, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I am so honored to be on this journey with you. I do not take it lightly. I know that there's so many people you can listen to, so I appreciate you spending time with me. I adore each and every one of you, and I'm on a mission to change the birth culture one birth at a time. So I have 2 assignments for you. 1, grab the guide. The link is in the show notes. Number 2, if you're pregnant and you did not know any of this, send this to one person right now, your partner, your sister, a friend who's due, a friend who just found out they're pregnant, because I want everyone to know that they have a choice. That's why I created Labor Nurse Mama. As always, I'll see you guys again next Friday. I love you. Hit subscribe, leave a review, and join me again next Friday. Bye for now.